Hello traders, this is Rich from Tradesight. This is a special report that we're going to focus on the BTK index, the biotechs. The overall NDX has had a pretty good run here, but as of late has kind of really been starting to struggle. So we just want to see kind of what might be in store for the market in general, and see what's going on here. We have here are the NQ futures. We had this high water mark, okay, in March, which was kind of the towards the end of the first quarter. We had this sell signal here that locked in off of that impulse and that reaction back to retest the high with the aggressive seeker, and then we had this 9 bars that just completed to the upside. We had this very sharp break to the downside here in the NQs as of Friday's close. So we're definitely in an area here of congestion, but what we need to do is focus on the things that are important and see what may lie ahead for the NQs. Don't want to jump to any conclusions, but here's a couple things that we need to think about. Here's a look at Apple. Apple topped out here above 132, and as you remember, when we're looking at the other chart, it was a little bit ahead of the other chart. Then we started to struggle here and basically it's holding pat. We got a 13 exhaustion signal when it opened up that day above 128, and today it's breaking down. It's looking like it might be threatening to roll over. Obviously, we won't have confirmation of that until we take out this low here at 122, but we're definitely moving in that direction as of now. So if Apple does continue to do this, this is going to be going to put a lot of burden on the BTK, the biotech index, to hold up the rest of the NQs. So let's take a look at the at the Nasdaq biotech index, the BTKs, and see what they might have to tell us. Right now we have the BTK up here. Again, this is the our Seeker study in the daily time frame. This is the aggressive setting. So in the aggressive setting, we're looking for something to kind of pick the top of the impulse. We've got that here in the BTK. We had this drive to the upside here. Let's zoom it down here, make it a little legible. Here's this 9 bars to the upside. Then we got into the exhaustion phase with 13 bars up. Had this high opening that wasn't sustained. We closed the gap and we locked in our 13 exhaustion here using our two bar look back methodology, and subsequently broke to the downside. So now we've kind of walked back up here, done a little bit of a retest, but essentially all we're really doing here is as you can see, just making this rising wedge, which is not usually a bullish formation. It's actually more bearish than bullish. Now this is the aggressive seeker. The aggressive seeker looks to get traders out who are long as early as possible, and looks to get the aggressive shorts in as early as possible to catch that first move to the downside. So this is essentially the A wave to the downside, and we've got what could be a B wave to the upside here, but may be incomplete. But let's take a look at the standard seeker, not the aggressive version, and see what that has to say. All right, so here's the same chart again. Here's the BTK index. This is with the standard setting. This is a little bit pickier in its requirements. Requirements are a little bit more stringent, which gives it a little bit more of an ability to retest the high. So rather than trying to pick the absolute high, what it tries to do is find the absolute inflection point where the buyers are completely exhausted, even if it comes at a point that's a little bit less than the absolute high on the chart. When you're looking for the absolute high in the chart, that's when you want to use the aggressive setting to find that impulsive high. You can see that we're only 11 bars up here in the standard setting, and now we're just kind of waiting to get back high enough to get a close above this 8 candle here, candle number 8. When we get a close above that, that'll be a sufficient retest of that previous high, and then we will have that 13 exhaustion locked in here. So even though the BTK did start to roll down, I think the takeaway here from this is that even if we take out these highs and move higher, all we're going to be doing is walking right into the teeth of that exhaustion warning off of that standard seeker. So here I'll move the other chart over and we can take a look at them side by side. All right, so here we have the two charts side by side. On the left side, here's the aggressive seeker. You remember the aggressive seeker is trying to find the impulsive high, to find that first inflection point to the downside. There's a 13 up here. When you look at the right chart here, we're only 11 bars up because of the more stringent look-back requirements. So we're just waiting for a little better retest of the high here to lock in that final exhaustion point where the buyers will run out of bids and potentially turn this back to the downside here for good and get a real 9-bar run going to the downside, and maybe even put this static trend line in play here on a what's probably going to be a probably meaningful and probably pretty abrupt correction if that does lock in. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on this coming week, and just wanted to share that with you. All right, folks, as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for Trading.